This is Respectfully Outrageous with Nathan and Ben.
Today we're going to be talking about the Bears from Thursday night, reviewing what happened in Week 3 and our Week 4 predictions.
Plus, two big surprises in this video. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so after a disastrous Thursday night football game for the Chicago Bears and some controversy as well, I want to know your thoughts on the game because I know you have some strong beliefs.
Well, first off, I want to make sure Davante Adams is okay. And that's his health is an important issue. And it looks like Ty Montgomery's going to be okay as well. He was injured, not on a dirty play. But I'll get to the Danny Trevathan thing in about a minute, which is kind of funny because his number's 59. But let's just start with the Green Bay Packers first. Let's start with the positives. They played pretty well. I mean, Aaron Rodgers looked good. He didn't start off disastrously. The running game was, pedestrian, nothing crazy. It's never been great.
They've actually been averaging about 60 yards a game,
Which is pretty good.
For rushing,
Yeah.
That's not fantastic.
Not
They need something better.
Packers, what do you expect? I mean, but Randall Cobb was actually featured, which I was surprised. I was like, is that a Randall Cobb sighting? But the Packers were moving the ball really well down the field. Now, their defense got after them, which is really really not a hard task. From what I saw from Mike Glennon, it was so bad. First off, the Chicago Bears are so disgracefully awful. I don't even know what to say positively. I mean, Jordan Howard looked okay.
Tariq Cohen's pretty good too. I mean, they've got some good running backs.
Honestly, just line up in Wildcat every play and have Jordan Howard take the snap and give it to Tariq Cohen or keep it himself. I'm tired of Bears quarterbacks. It is awful. It is horrendous. It's official. Mike Glennon is the worst starter in the league. Official. It's not even close. He can't even catch a snap. He's getting sacked. He's throwing kicks.
He kicked a snap.
No, he took the snap and went off his knee like it's a disc and went flying and almost got intercepted. The snap almost got intercepted. It's that bad. He looks like he has no idea what's going on. The balls are sailing everywhere. He makes Geno Smith look like a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, at this point, I want Christian Hackenberg. Okay? I want Tyrod Taylor. I don't care who it is.
I'm actually going to say I want to see Trubisky at this point.
I was a big fan of saying, keep the kid on the bench, rest him. Like, not rest him, but let him learn.
Groom him.
Let him learn the playing book.
Yeah.
He only played 1 year as a starter in college. So, you give him some experience in the NFL. Let him play the preseason. He looked great. At this point, after the sack by Brooks Reed, I was like, you need to start him. Because he's more athletic, he can make more plays, the fans want him.
Well, and part of the issue is, the Bears don't have a solid receiving core either.
Where is Kevin White? It's official.
He's out for the season again.
Again?
I'm pretty sure he's out for the season again. And then Brandon Marshall, they traded, or he's gone.
Does it really matter at this point? He hasn't really done anything. He was a first-round pick from West Virginia, and people were like, he's the next Tavon Austin from West Virginia. And he's done absolutely nothing. Leonard Floyd, who was supposed to be the stud from Georgia, he's made some great plays, but he's just so MIA. And then Akeem Hicks, I don't know what was more disgraceful. The fact that the Bears have fans come see them play in the cold and they play this bad consistently. I mean, it's like a bad Caesar salad that's been sitting out all day and just been baking in the sun and you try to eat it. You just gag. It's disgusting. It's just gross. The receivers can't get open. Their running game is their only thing that they even have going for them. Their defense is mediocre, but they're playing the whole game.
And they're playing cheap shots.
Okay, cheap shots. I don't ever want to see Danny Trevathan play again in the NFL. It's just unexcusable. Frankly, there are some illegal hits in college that are targeting. As soon as I saw the hit, and I watched this in post highlights, because I couldn't watch the game because of schoolwork and stuff like that. But as soon as I saw the hit, I was disgusted. Frankly disgusted. Not only because I don't really have a stake in the Packer-Bears rivalry, but it's disgusting. There's no reason for it. He's going down to the ground, and you take out your aggression on a player. Frankly, that's just disturbing. It's really disturbing. It's morbid.
Especially, it's one thing to do it on, when you're a 250-pound linebacker and you take it out on a lineman, someone more your size, and it's not that big of a deal. But he took it out on a smaller receiver, Davante Adams.
He's 6'1", 230,
But he's not, he's not big.
No, he's not big. It doesn't really
and
matter.
Danny Trevathan's just got to ton of force just coming in and
he's compact,
popping
too.
him in the head.
People don't realize how short Danny Trevathan is. He's not like Bobby Wagner or Luke Kuechly, who are like 6'4", 6'5". He's a 5'10", 5'11" linebacker who kind of reminds me of like the smaller, like Singletary linebackers that are just compact and just drive into you. And his thing is, you're not supposed to leave with the crown of your helmet. You're not supposed to go to head and neck area, and especially when the receiver's already being tackled, there's no reason for it. And there's only one hit that's dirtier if you go for the knees. There's just no reason to go for it. So he's crowning, using the crown of his helmet, and he's going for the head and neck area. It's targeting. If it was in college, he'd be out of the game indefinitely. 2 games, really, 2 games.
That's all they give him.
2 games. I thought he died on the field. I literally thought he was dead. As soon as I saw the hit, I saw his mouthpiece go 15 yards. 15 yards.
It wasn't quite 15. It was more like 5, 10.
He's literally holding it down with his teeth, goes flying out of his helmet, and goes out, like, and hits the ground and starts rolling. I was literally like, is he dead? He might have died on the field. And frankly, and the thing that made it worse is Aaron Rodgers talked about this in his post-game press conference. The fact, I don't remember his exact words, but I take issue with opposing players or players cheering for someone getting injured, which is shameful for the whole Chicago Bears, which, honestly, if I'm a Bears fan, I'm done. I'm done with the Bears. Not only you're never getting better, John Fox is going to be fired at the end of the season. It's just happening. The Bears fans have given him time, the Bears organization has given him time, and he just hasn't materialized. Not saying it's all his fault, but just nothing's going well. They got to get rid of him. Restart. But I wouldn't, if I was the commissioner, he wouldn't be playing this game again this season. And the reason is, you're like, yeah, that's ridiculous. Because he did it on purpose. It wasn't subjective like the Shashir hit a couple years ago on Bernard out of the backfield. I mean, he was trying to become a runner and just screamed. That was a bad not like a dirty hit. It was illegal, ruled illegally, but like, come on, he was kind of going for it. That's subjective. This hit, there's no reason for it. I mean, he's basically coming down and you're taking your aggression out on a wide receiver who's undersized. You're professionals. I mean, if it's college, it's overly emotional. I get it because you're a college kid, but still, it doesn't have an excuse for it.
But I want to point out something. It was fast play. I mean,
fast play, yeah.
In how fast was it?
It was like a slant, wasn't it?
So yeah, Adams was running a slant. He caught the ball. He was entangled up. He wasn't really going to the ground.
He was tangled up and he wasn't going forward anymore, but he was definitely secured. And then he came.
Where was the point where he was down, and then how much time was there between when he got down and when he hit him?
I'm gonna say there's a good 2 seconds.
I don't even know if it was that many.
Because he caught the ball and he was kind of being like brought down. And the thing that was really dirty about it was the fact that he was running at full speed and then he launched himself. So he became like a missile.
But here's my issue with, ruling on dirty hits and all that. Obviously, he wasn't like on the ground.
Right.
So obviously the Bears defense is terrible enough that they can't tackle. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is Danny Trevathan was going in for the tackle.
I don't think he was going in for the tackle. He said he was going for the tackle, and I'm like, you're just saying that because you want your suspension to be
But this is also part of the game. It's gonna happen. These injuries are. I mean, like this, you can't. You have to make a choice because all 22 people on that field, know the risk at play.
Yes, basically. And that's why Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson were saying they want a medic over there because he thought he was out before he hit the ground. He was
out. Like Ricardo Lockett
against the Cowboys a couple years ago
with Jeff in Seattle. Yeah,
Jeff Heath. That wasn't dirty. I mean, he
got knocked out. I'm comparing.
He got popped with the shoulder blade and he kind of fell down and he was out before he hit the ground. And that was a scary hit because it was all up in the neck and he had like the neck brace.
Yeah, he was unconscious for like 3 minutes.
He was unconscious for a good 3 minutes, and then he gave the thumbs up, which everyone in Dallas was clapping for, which is great.
I mean, that's the football's finest at that point. But what my point is, I don't think it was a dirty hit.
You don't think targeting, leading with your head after receivers basically being brought down to the ground, running like 5 yards at full speed. He was on the other side of the field.
I understand. He was on the
other side of the field. He had no reason. He was going over there to bring a tackle down. You go tackle a lead up with like form tackle, not lead with your head like Carl Joseph.
My point is, I understand that he was coming from the other side of the field, but he's also over 250 pounds, like 250, 220, who knows? I mean, you can't, when you're running that speed, because you can't give up tackling, like going in the pursuit, because you don't know if he's going to break one off. So he had to keep going. But the issue I have with it is the leading with the head.
The thing is,
that is not only unsafe for the receiver or the person getting tackled, but it's also unsafe for you. I mean, when those two heads collide, I'm sure he suffered some damage at some point in that play.
So you're saying your receiver should be responsible for your own health and everybody else on the field? Is that what
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that up until the point where Danny Trevathan, until he led with the head,
yes,
was legal. But once he lowered the head and went straight for his head, because that was all that was there.
Okay.
Because like if you look at a video of the shot,
I've seen several shots of it in slow
from
motion.
where Danny Trevathan was coming from, it was kind of like you could only see his head, like that was not covered by the jerseys or whatever.
That's another problem I have with it. The fact is, not with the Bears that were holding him down was like dirty, but the fact is he almost teed him up like a baseball and a bat. Like the bat swung and hit the ball.
I get what you're saying. But like it would have been a lot more ideal if Danny Trevathan had like, I don't know, gone for like to try to like push the pile, you know,
I've seen
push the pile down.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times.
Because he could have easily done that. But the issue is with the frustration of the game.
Yeah, that's right.
He lost his head, and so he led with his head and just clocked him in the head. Just boom. I mean, he was going fast.
The thing is, most people don't realize he was come to a dead stop and he was standing at one hash. The slant was opening over here, and a couple Bears. I don't remember who was involved with the tackle. I think it was Amos, and he came over at full speed and then just launched himself. Now I don't have a problem with him going with like leading with his shoulder blade,
right? Yeah,
or like his chest.
But the
blade.
issue is when you
crown of the helmet, target area. In his defense, what is he supposed to hit?
Yeah,
there's nothing else sticking up. It's just his head and shoulders above water. There's nothing else for him to hit.
But could he have not used
tackled with his like arms?
I don't know. I don't. But the point is,
it's a dirty hit.
2-game suspension.
I want some fine money with that.
I think you got a fine, but I think he should be suspended for 1 game. But
I'm saying 4 games.
I say 1, and with a bigger fine.
I'm saying
so
4.
You either do, I think, in 2 with a like minimal fine, or 1 with a bigger fine.
I'm saying 4-game suspension.
At least pay for the hospital bill.
Oh, he said he's gonna go reach out with him, which it's great. It shows his class. But a hit like that's vicious. It's absolutely vicious. And the NFL is trying to work on player safety, and you violated a couple rules. First off, you went to the head or neck area, and you let your emotions get in the way. And that shows a lot. If your emotions are dictating, if your emotions are controlling you, that's not healthy. That's not good.
I mean, it's not bad to have emotions in the game.
No, it's not.
Hype and all that. But the fact that in the moment he just had so much rage about the game and just completely took it out on the defense, that's not okay.
That's what I have a problem with. The fact that he's overly emotional, the fact that he took it out on somebody else. I mean,
Correct.
if he took it out on a football or spiked it, or Odell Beckham Jr.
Then you get the flag or whatever.
You get the flag. I'm like, it's annoying. It's like, grow up, Odell. But he doesn't take it out on other people. Besides the time he speared Josh Norman, he doesn't take it out on other people. And that's what I have to give him praise, because he just takes it out on something else, or the wall in Lambeau Field. He doesn't take it out on other human beings like Danny Trevathan did, and that's why the suspension be so much more, is because he took out his aggression on Devontae Adams, who did nothing wrong other than play the game and got clocked for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a bad hit and a bad performance for the Bears,
and it was
a
just
boring game.
Yeah, it was not great. Packers
dominated all
blew them out of the water.
Honestly, I think they should stop playing Packers-Bears games on Thursday Night Football.
It's better than the ones we've had in the past, though.
Honestly, the 49ers-Rams game was the best game of the year.
So far.
Besides, next
on the Thursday nights, you're saying?
Yeah, and then next would be the Cowboys-Broncos game.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that covers how the Bears are talking about the Bears.
Yeah. So next segment we'll be talking about our summary on our Week 3 game picks and our predictions for Week 4. So on this segment we are going to be talking about summaries basically from Week 3, mostly just our records on the predictions, and then our Week 4 predictions, and also a surprise later on. So sadly, I went 5 for 9 on my game picks this
Yep.
week.
Told you not to take the Texans. He didn't listen to me. I told you. Don't go against
Ben
Bill
went 7 for 7. I actually didn't. You might have gone 8 for 7.
Belichick. Yeah, I don't
And
know.
I was
Doesn't really matter.
for some. We'll say 7 for 7 for this point, and then 5 for 9 for myself. Interesting week, I will say. But now, the most important part is week 4 predictions.
Yep.
Would you like to start us off, sir?
I'll pull up the schedule real quick.
I got you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we have our London game. 8:30 in the morning, we have New Orleans and Miami.
Since this is New Orleans, isn't this New Orleans' first trip ever to London? I'm gonna roll with Miami. Jay Cutler can't play worse. I think Jarvis Landry is gonna show up against the pedestrian Saints secondary, who had a really great outing last week. I think Drew Brees is kind of showing his age this season. Coming back down to earth. It's not a dome in Wembley, so I'm gonna take Miami, 26-16.
Okay. Next one, we have Buffalo Bills and Atlanta Falcons.
Where's the game being played? Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
I'm rolling with Atlanta. They're indoors. It's a turf. They're indoors. They're the greatest show on turf right now, theoretically. Matt Ryan's on fire right now. They're undefeated. And they're gonna keep on rolling. Freeman, Coleman, those boys are gonna keep on rolling. On a high scoring affair, Atlanta 32, Buffalo 30. I think
Interesting.
LaShawn McCoy is gonna get rolling. I think because the Falcons' defense has looked good, but I'm like, they're going to show their age. They're going to not show their age, but show their true colors. Buffalo's going to do some different things. Zay Jones is going to have a big performance, I think. McCoy's going to be pretty good. So Atlanta 32, Buffalo 30.
Okay, next one. Divisional matchup. This one can get pretty heated. Pittsburgh and Baltimore in Baltimore.
Baltimore. They're wearing black. They play well in black at home. Empty Bank Stadium. The Ravens are looking good this year. After a disgusting loss, the worst in franchise history, let's just say they're going to be fired up. At home, Ravens crowd, and Pittsburgh has not been great this year. They've been good at home. On the road, they're pedestrian. And a fired up, emotional Ravens defense, they're going to come out with a win. I'm going to say, Elliot Harrison said it's going to be 7-10. I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit more. I'm going to say 17-13 Baltimore. Late game stack for Terrell Suggs.
Battle of the defeated teams: Cincinnati Bengals and Cleveland Browns in Cleveland.
Browns. I just don't like the Bengals this year. I just don't. Andy Dalton stinks. He shouldn't be in the league anymore. Beside the point, he can still put up some plays. So I'm going to say the Browns. Deshaun Kaiser keeps the picks under wraps. They look good in the second half against the Colts. I think the running game with Duke Johnson is going to look pretty good. The receivers, Kenny Britt's going to step up this week after getting chipped out a couple weeks ago by Hugh Jackson. I think AJ Green's going to have a good effort, but it's going to be a losing effort. Browns 20, Bengals 6.
Wow. Okay. This one should be interesting. LA Rams and Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World.
In Jerry World. I think Todd Gurley is going to go off against a pretty okay Cowboys defense.
I also want to point out that Sean Lee, I don't think he's going to play.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because he's their emotional leader and their defensive captain. Without Sean Lee, they lose a lot of flexibility and things they can do defensively. And I think the Rams with Jared Goff are going to keep it simple. Jared Goff's not going to have another 4-touchdown performance. He's going to throw a pick. He's going to come back down to earth. He's going to look good. He won't look like his rookie year, but he'll look pretty good. He'll be decent. Good enough. I think the Rams are going to keep Dak Prescott in the pocket. Aaron Donald's going to come back this week against Ezekiel Elliott. He was back last week. And I think Wade Phillips is going to come back and seek revenge on the Dallas Cowboys, the team he used to coach, even though he's got good relationships. He wants to come after him. I'm going to shock the world here. I'm going to go Rams 19, Cowboys 16.
Interesting. Tennessee and Houston in Houston. Tennessee are the favorites.
I like to cap Deshaun Watson. Actually, no. I'm rolling with Tennessee this week. I'm gonna roll with Tennessee. I like Murray. I like Mariota. I trust them this week. They looked really good last week against Seattle. Their defense played well enough to win the game. I think it's gonna be close. Same thing. I don't think it's gonna be a 33-27 bout, but I think Deshaun Watson is gonna make a number of plays in this game to continue the game. DeAndre Hopkins is gonna go off against Adoree Jackson. It's just facts. Tennessee 20, Houston 19.
Interesting. Next one. Detroit versus Minnesota at the bank.
I'm going Vikings. Even though I basically bat under 500 in U.S. Bank Stadium, I'm going to roll with the Vikings simply because I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to be emotionally the same after last week. I think it's just an emotional shot to every Lions fan. They should have won that game. And I'm going to stick with that to the day I die. They should have won that game and they got cheated. And even the Falcons know it. Anyway, to this point. Is Sam Bradford playing?
No.
He's not playing. I'm still going to roll with the Vikings. Their defense is basically lights out at this point. They've been really good this season. Xavier Rhodes is playing like the third best corner in the league right now. Marvin Jones has been kind of MIA this year. So I think he's going to have a couple big catches to move the chains, but I think Stafford is just not going to have, since he has no running game, he can't do it himself, basically all himself, and you can't rely on Matt Prater 57-yard field goals every single drive. I think the Lions are going to come up short on third down a couple times. They're just going to set a tone, and they're just not going to be able to move the ball downfield. The Vikings are going to be able to do enough offensively with Dalvin Cook. The Vikings 16. Lions 9.
Wow. All right. Carolina, New England.
Cam can't play worse than he played last week. He really can't. Cam historically has done well against Bill Belichick. Being said, it's Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is really, really, really good. And Carolina's always had problems with Brandon Cooks. It's going to be a lot closer than many people think. I'm going to say New England gets after it. But they struggle early, which allows Carolina to jump on top. They're going to struggle for a bit, but ultimately kind of like Super Bowl 38. Just kind of bring that resemblance. What Elliot Harrison mentioned it this week. New England 27. Carolina 26.
Jacksonville and New York Jets.
Jaguars.
Do we really need an explanation on that one?
Leonard Fournette.
All right. San Francisco and Arizona.
The 49ers are going to win this one. I'm done with the Cardinals. I'm just done. Palmer and Fitzgerald can't do it themselves. Brian Hoyer looked really good last week. Kyle Shanahan is an absolute genius. Carlos Hyde looks like the guy they're supposed to get out of Ohio State finally. Their defense is going to be really good. I don't think Reuben Foster will be back, but Solomon Thomas and the others, led with Navarro Bowman, will be able to do a lot of different things. I'm going to say the 49ers in a defensive... I'm going to say... 24 to... No, 26 to 20.
Okay. We've got 5 games left in this week. We got Philadelphia and LA. Chargers.
LA Chargers. That changes things a little bit. Eagles.
Okay.
Just, they're a better team.
Giants and Bucks.
In Tampa Bay?
Yep.
Tampa Bay.
What are you thinking for Oakland and Denver?
In Denver...
Yep.
Get ready for some points. Get ready for some points. Derek Carr is going to have a career performance.
Wow.
Because I think that defense is really good, but Derek Carr looked scared, like the 2014 version of Derek Carr the rookie Derek Carr that looked good, that made some plays, but still was losing. I think they're gonna have to reinvent themselves. They're gonna have to realize that they can't just rely on Marshawn Lynch. They're gonna do a lot of different things and be a lot more creative with play calling. And Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree are gonna step up. So I still think the Broncos are gonna win because they're in Denver. It's Mile High. Von Miller is there. And Trevor Siemian looks really good this year. So Broncos 39, Raiders 37.
Okay. Colts and Seattle in Seattle.
What do I have to say? It's Seahawks in Seattle. And no Andrew Luck. It's going to be ugly. It really is. T.Y. Hilton's going to be bracketed. It's going to be really ugly. They're not going to be able to run the football because they have no running game. Seattle's going to get after it. Even though that their Seahawks run defense it's going to be close. It's going to be like a 9-3 game going into half, and then Seattle's going to put up like 20 unanswered points.
Okay. Monday night game. Redskins and Chiefs.
In Arrowhead?
Yep.
You don't win on Monday night in Arrowhead. Chiefs win it. Defense for Kansas City. Kansas City 20, Washington 3, 5 turnovers for Cousins.
That hurts. All right, now it's my turn. New Orleans and Miami. I gotta take New Orleans in this one. I think Miami just looked like absolute trash last week against the Jets. Counter to your point, I think Drew Brees is looking great. I don't think he's looking old. He's still throwing dots to Ted Ginn Jr. Willie Snead's coming back this week. Kobe Fleener, I think they've kind of solved their running back issue a little bit. I'm going to take New Orleans 24-14. Buffalo and Atlanta. I'm going to take Atlanta. I like Atlanta at home in their new stadium. Good crowd. Their defense has been okay. I think this could be the week where Julio Jones actually finds the end zone.
He's going on.
I like their running game, and I'm going to take Atlanta 28-10. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I gotta take Pittsburgh. I can't. The Ravens look horrendous last week against the Jaguars. And I just feel like that Pittsburgh has enough of a big play mentality and capabilities that they're going to take this one in a low-scoring matchup.
The answer to your question.
Shut your devices off.
It's my watch. My bad.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh in a low-scoring matchup, 17-10 in that one.
You do realize they lost to the Bears last week.
Yep. Yeah, but the Ravens lost 44-7.
They're also wearing black, and they're over 5. They're over 700.
You made your pick. Cincinnati and Cleveland. I'm gonna have to take Cincinnati. They put their defense looked pretty good against Green Bay last week. I haven't seen enough from Cleveland yet at this point to see them get into the win column. I'm gonna take Cincinnati 21-14. I think Joe Mixon's going to go off in that one, too. LA Rams versus Dallas. I have a tough time with this one because the LA Rams are averaging, 30 points a game or something like that? Something crazy like that. It's just crazy. Dallas, I feel like they lost their touch a little bit. Ever since that pounding loss in Denver, they came back pretty well last week, but they still lost the plays. They ran almost nearly half of what Arizona ran, which shows they have good efficiency, and their defense is stepping up. I like DeMarcus Tank Lawrence though on that line, and Malik Collins. They're starting to stand out. I think they're going to get pressure on Goff for the first time this year. And I think Goff's going to throw a couple picks, and I'm going to take Dallas in that one, 21-10. Tennessee and Houston. I gotta go with Houston and Deshaun Watson. They put up 33 points against New England and almost took away the victory. And I don't think Marcus Mariota can make those throws that Tom Brady made last week. Detroit and Minnesota. I want to take the Lions, but I think Minnesota's going to take it. Dalvin Cook's been on a roll at this point. Detroit just is lacking a run game yet again this year. I like Matt Stafford, but you can only do so much with one quarterback. I'm going to take Minnesota 35-21. A high-scoring matchup. Carolina and New England. I'm going to take New England in what is a no-brainer. Carolina looks awful. Christian McCaffrey's not getting the volume we expected. He's not performing like we all thought he would. I don't know. It's just.
What did you just say? Okay, I'll save it for next week. Just mentally write that down.
Carolina can't beat New England.
I didn't say they were going.
Tom Brady is too good.
I didn't say they were going to beat him, but you just said Christian McCaffrey's not getting targets. He's 70% of their offense. What do you want? Him
I
taking
understand,
the snaps,
but
playing center, wide receiver,
they put
quarterback.
him in too much right away.
What do you want, Jonathan Stewart?
Jonathan Stewart's perfectly capable.
He's
They went to
get him
Newton,
because he can't do it all himself.
if Cam Newton can't win a game with Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Stewart, Calvin Benjamin,
It wasn't all. Did you see that defense? I mean, I've seen people wide open. It was bad. Ted Ginn Jr. went down the field. I don't know why we cut him. That's our GM right there. That's Dave Gettleman right there.
Anyway, I'm going to take New England in a 36-14 victory. Jacksonville and the New York Jets. Jets looked surprisingly different last week. In a different way. I don't think they looked better. I just think that they looked good enough to beat a struggling Miami team. I'm going to take Jacksonville in this one with Leonard Fournette. As long as Blake Bortles doesn't throw 4 picks. So I'll take Jacksonville and 24-13 against the Jets. San Francisco and Arizona. I'm going to take Arizona. They look good against Dallas. And I don't think San Francisco has a good enough pass rush to really get Carson Palmer under pressure, which is when Carson Palmer sweats and lacks the ability. I'm going to take Arizona in that one, 20-14. Philadelphia and LA Chargers. I'm going to take Philly. They're on a hot streak right now. I will say losing Darren Sproles is not good for the team, but I think they will be okay. I think they're okay. Carson Wentz is mainly the reason why they're doing so well. Their defense is playing well. Not incredible, but good enough for the offense. And I like Alshon Jeffrey, and maybe they'll get LeGarrette Blount some more in there, more carries. I'm going to take Philadelphia 28-10 against the Chargers. The New York Giants and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to take Buccaneers. Giants just are super PC. Have a lot of holes. It's just not working for them. Oakland and Denver. Denver's at home, and that's tough. That's tough for me to pick the Raiders on this one because Denver's at home.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it. Don't do it.
And I honestly don't think Derek Carr is going to perform up to snuff with the no-fly zone up in there. I'm going to take Denver. In a low-scoring matchup of 17-10. Raiders looked horrendous on Monday night. What can I say? Or Sunday night, excuse me. They looked horrendous against Washington. So I'm going to take Denver in that one. Indianapolis and Seattle. Nobody in the right mind would pick an Andrew Luck-less Colts against Seattle. Washington to Kansas City. I got to take Kansas City in Arrowhead on Monday night. Primetime game. Kirk Cousins can't handle that kind of pressure. He's just not good enough. I'm going to take Kansas City in a 35-14 win.
Okay.
Now we have a special.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a caller, so we're going to call him up and see what he's got for us. We're going to ask him some questions. Hello, you're on the show.
Hey.
This is Matthew Freeman. So we're gonna ask you some questions. I hope you don't mind that we ask you them.
Well, he
Let's-
picked up,
let's
so
go
I think
for
he
it.
wants to be on the show.
Yeah, he picked up. All right, so first question: what is your prediction for the Detroit Minnesota game today, or this Sunday, I guess?
Detroit, Minnesota. As much as I like the Vikings, I think Detroit is going to be able to overpower the Vikings this week. Case Keenum's doing his third start, and he showed us what he's capable of against the Bucs defense. But the Buccaneers were very they're good sometimes and not good the other, and they did not have a good showing against the Vikings. And I think the Lions have showed that they can stick with the competition this year, especially against the Falcons. So I think they'll be able to beat the Vikings this week.
That's respectable. Both Ben and I picked the Vikings to win in this one. We just think that Detroit really doesn't have anything besides Matt Stafford at this point.
And I just said that defense got smashed by Atlanta's offense. Not saying that Case Keenum is Matt Ryan or he has Julio Jones to work with, but the Vikings look pretty good offensively with Dalvin Cook. I love the balance. The play calling isn't all Adrian Peterson up the middle, which is gone, which yay. Means they can watch the games. But to Freeman's point, the Lions have played really well, but they haven't played a defense like Minnesota this week.
Up until this
Up
point,
until
right?
this point. And it gets really loud in that stadium. So I'm going to stay with the point, but that's a good point, Freeman.
Yeah, I think that it all depends on which Case Keenum shows up to the game on
That's
Sunday.
very true because what he threw over 325 yards last
Yep.
week.
Let's hope we don't
Yeah.
see Rams Case Keenum.
Yeah,
Because Dalvin Cook will be good again, but if Case Keenum can't get the passing game going, they'll just shut down Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
very true.
Freeman, what are your thoughts on the Colts Seahawks game?
Colts, Seahawks. I think Seattle will be able to beat Indianapolis this week. The Colts got their first win last week against the Browns, but Seattle seemed to get its offense moving last week, and I think Russell Wilson will be able to take advantage of a weak Indianapolis secondary.
I totally agree with that. To that point, when you said Indianapolis got their first win, they got their first win against the Browns, which that's not an incredible feat.
Hey. Kaiser's looked good this year.
I
Don't,
know,
don't disrespect him. Do not disrespect Hugh Jackson. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm pointing out that Indy really hasn't faced a high caliber team yet, and
Yep.
and actually look good.
Yep.
So I totally
And-
agree with that.
And although Kaiser is looking good on offense, the Browns' defense isn't necessarily that good this year still. They got
Yeah, that's what I said in my game picks is we really haven't seen the Browns show up yet. It's poised to be great, but we just haven't seen them showing up yet.
Okay, we need a tiebreaker on the Ravens-Steelers game in Baltimore.
Ravens Steelers in Baltimore.
Yes.
I gotta go with Baltimore on this one, even though
That's my man.
Even though the Ravens got slaughtered last week at in London by Jacksonville, I think that they're due for a bounce back, and the Steelers are not looking like that good of a team away. They were able to beat the Vikings at their home stadium, but they did pretty bad against the Browns in Cleveland, and they lost last week against the Bears, who looked absolutely terrible on Thursday night, and they took a loss to them last week. So I think the Ravens will be able to bounce back and take advantage of the Steelers on the road.
Yeah, that is fair. Ben agrees with you. I, however, do not. I think Pittsburgh, Le'Veon Bell this might be the finally week where he emerges.
Sorry.
Hey, be quiet. Give me my time. I think Le'Veon Bell is gonna blow up. Antonio Brown's just been actually really phenomenal. And no one's really been talking about him because of Odell Beckham looking like a dog peeing on the ground. But
and getting fined $12,000 for that.
yeah, so I think Antonio Brown's getting a little slacked off here. I think he's been doing really well. I will say it'll be really close. I just really don't like the Ravens coming off a 44-7 loss.
Yeah, the Ravens could show up bad, but I think that they'll be able to pull it together in Week 4.
Very true. Are there any last thoughts that you have about this week, Matthew?
What do you guys think about that hit on Devontae Adams?
I thought it was disgusting. I don't want to see him play again in the NFL, which really.
I just want to point out that we already actually talked about this. So.
But Freeman, what are your thoughts on the hit? We haven't
yeah,
heard
what
your thoughts.
what are your thoughts? Let's hear this.
I thought it was a really dirty hit. There's no need for it. He was already basically stopped, and he was going to go down, and he didn't need to lower his head and run right into Devontae Adams. So
that's kind of the consensus we came to. We were talking about that there were many other options for Danny Trevathan to hit him, not necessarily in the head neck area.
I agree.
Freeman, what are your current thoughts on like how long his suspension should be?
He got a 2-game suspension, right? But
Yeah.
What do you think? I think he should be suspended at least, maybe not forever, but for at least more than 2 games, because he definitely didn't need to make that mean of a hit on basically a defenseless runner at that point after he had received the ball.
It's
So
true.
I think it should
I
be.
like that terminology, defenseless runner, because at that point he was held up in like 2 or 3 people,
Yeah.
and he really couldn't move to get out of the way.
Yep.
I mean, he was just like Ben made an analogy. He said it's kind of like placing him on a tee and then just coming in with a baseball bat.
Yeah, and you could see his helmet expand and contract with how hard the hit was.
Yeah.
Mouthpiece went flying. Any other current thoughts you have, Freeman?
Who do you think's going to look like the strongest team after Week 4?
I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs and Arrowhead.
I gotta agree with that.
Chiefs still? Who are they facing this week?
Washington, Monday night.
Ooh. Washington kind of shut down Oakland last week, so it should be a good matchup.
It should, but I like Kansas City in Arrowhead,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think Kansas City will be able to beat them too.
I think Travis Kelce's gonna have a big game, so if you guys have him, I'd start him. I don't know if
Yeah, I got him.
I do not.
Hey, well, thank you, Matthew, for coming on the show. It was
Yeah.
really nice to try this out. Hopefully, it'll be received well by the public.
Hopefully, you can
Yeah,
make this
thanks for
nighttime
having me
thing.
on, and I want to give a shout out to Scott Kruger for not being on the show right away.
You picked up first.
Yeah, you picked it. Yeah.
I still wanted Scott, but you know what?
All right, thanks guys.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Freeman.
See ya.
Want to call Scott?
We'll wait for next. We can wait for another week. So that was something new we tried. I think it went pretty well. I think it was
enjoyed
nice
it.
to have a new, fresh breath into the show. Please let us know what you think.
I thought it was. I think sometimes you have to have some outrageous ideas come out. Some of them be the best ideas.
Yeah, that's true. That's why we're called Respectfully Outrageous. Am I right?
That's right.
So I want to thank you for watching actually this week, because we finally, as you can see, set up our face cam.
You talk, we do listen.
Yeah, we
do listen.
We do listen. There was overwhelming feedback, which was like 10 people saying, we'd really enjoyed it if there was something to watch.
Right.
And I agree. It might not be the best quality for now, but it'll suffice.
It's a building block, kind of like Tennessee, just kind of
It's a stepping stone.
stepping stone.
We got to start somewhere. I want to thank you guys for listening. And any last thoughts before we go?
No.
All right, thank you, and go Pittsburgh.